sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. So today we're diving deep into the life and music of Angie Stone.
Angie Stone.
Yeah. This incredible...
Icon.
Yeah, icon. I mean, I think that's a great word for her.
Legend.
Yeah, legend. Someone who truly, embodied that fusion of, hip-hop and R&B.
Absolutely.
And we've got, this People magazine article is talking about, her passing and everything. But we're going to go way beyond that.
Yeah.
What made her so unique. So
it's a fascinating journey to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So to start, I guess, I keep thinking about the Sequence.
Yeah.
Like one of the first all-female hip-hop groups.
Absolutely.
Way back when the genre was still kind of finding its feet, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, their 1979 hit, Funk You Up, it wasn't just a catchy tune, it was a statement. Think about the music scene back then. Women in hip-hop were practically unheard of.
Yeah.
They were pioneers.
That had to shape her, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. But then she transitions into R&B. Was it a total shift in style, or was it more of a, carrying over some of that?
You can definitely hear those hip-hop roots in her later music.
Okay.
Like No More Rain.
Yeah.
That big hit from her debut album, Black Diamond.
Yeah.
There's this rhythmic complexity, a kind of syncopation.
Oh, interesting.
That's pure hip-hop. But then you layer on top of that, you've got this soulful vocal delivery and lyrics that are deeply personal. It's like she was telling a story, not just singing a song.
And she wrote for so many other artists, too.
She did.
It's wild.
It is.
Like D'Angelo,
Oh, yeah.
Alicia Keys, even Lenny Kravitz.
Yes.
That's such a range.
Such a diverse range, and it really speaks to her versatility. She wasn't confined to one sound or one style. She could tap into all these different emotions, different vibes, and make them work.
Broadway even. Chicago.
Yes.
Back in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And movies, like the Hot Chicken stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing how she was balancing all these things with her music career.
She was really busy.
10 solo albums, 3 Grammy nominations.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2024, she was inducted into the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's was it ever too much?
That's a good question.
Spreading yourself so thin.
It's interesting you say that. I think for some artists, that level of multitasking might dilute their core focus,
Yeah.
But with Angie Stone,
Yeah.
each venture seemed to add another layer to her artistry.
Okay.
It's like she was constantly absorbing new experiences, new influences, and channeling them right back into her music.
Wow.
It kept her evolving, kept her fresh.
And it's like she was saying, I'm going to do it all.
Right.
I'm going to do it my way. And I guess that's the spirit of that quote from, her interview back in 2020 on The Breakfast Club, where she's like, I'm a rubber band. You can stretch me, but I won't pop. I'm going to always do me.
Exactly. And it's that resilience, that unwavering sense of self that really shines through in her music. Yeah.
She faced a lot of challenges personally, professionally, but she never compromised her vision.
Right.
And I think that's what resonated with so many people. It's inspiring.
It is.
Yeah.
And it makes her, passing in that accident on March 1st all the more tragic.
It is. Only 63 years old.
So young.
Yeah. Her daughter, Letty, her son Michael,
Mm-hmm.
who she had with D'Angelo.
Right.
And her grandkids.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. But the music remains.
Right. The music remains. And that's a legacy that will live on.
For sure. Speaking of that legacy, we've touched on some of her, bigger accomplishments and everything. But what do you think it was about her music, about her sound, that really bridged hip hop and R&B so successfully?
It's more than just the notes or the beats.
Right.
It's about the attitude, the delivery.
Oh.
She brought this rawness, this grittiness from hip-hop and blended it with these smooth, soulful melodies.
There's a vulnerability in her voice, but also this underlying strength. You feel her life experiences in every note.
Wow. That's awesome. And those experiences, she was really open about them.
She was.
Really open.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She talked about domestic violence, raising her kids as a single mom,
Yeah.
the challenges of being a Black woman in the music industry, things a lot of people could relate to.
For sure.
And by doing so, she gave a voice to those who often felt unheard.
Wow.
You know, it was brave, and I think it made her music even more powerful.
It definitely adds another dimension, right?
It does.
It's not just listening to a song. You're
Right.
sharing a piece of her journey.
Exactly.
But how did that openness affect her within the industry?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it'd be easy to assume that being so candid
Yeah.
might have hurt her career in some ways.
Right.
But I think the opposite happened.
Oh.
People connected with her authenticity.
Okay.
Made her relatable, approachable.
So she was pioneering not just musically, but in how she presented herself, her whole being to the world.
Precisely. And that's something that continues to influence artists today.
Oh, wow.
That willingness to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
to share your story, and to connect with your audience on a deeper level.
It's really making me think about how we even categorize musicians. You know?
All right.
It's like she was hip hop and R&B, but also so much more.
So much more than those labels.
You hit on a really important point.
Yeah.
She transcended genre, which sometimes makes it harder for artists to get the recognition they deserve. Awards shows, historical narratives, like neat boxes.
Yeah.
And she didn't fit in any box.
No. Which makes her success all the more remarkable.
It does.
But, I feel like we've been talking a lot about, the broader impact,
Yeah.
her career overall.
Right.
Maybe we should zoom in a bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
What are some specific examples of how she brought those hip-hop elements into her R&B? I'm genuinely curious about that. I'm happy to dig into that.
Okay.
Let's look at her 2001 hit, Wish I Didn't Miss You.
Okay.
It's a classic R&B ballad on the surface, right?
Yeah.
But if you pay attention to the rhythm track, there's this syncopated beat, almost like a hip-hop drum loop,
Oh, interesting.
running underneath the melody.
Really?
It gives the song this subtle but undeniable groove.
Wow.
It's not something you'd typically hear in a traditional R&B ballad.
So you think that was intentional?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She's purposely blending those worlds.
Yeah.
It's not just happenstance.
Well,
You hear it again and again in her music.
Uh,
She's taking these elements, these textures from hip-hop and
Yeah.
weaving them into the fabric of R&B.
like creating a new language, a hybrid.
Exactly. She's not abandoning one genre for another.
Yeah.
She's evolving them, merging them into something fresh, something uniquely Angie Stone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like she's taking the best of both worlds and creating something totally new. But it wasn't just about the music, was it?
No, not at all.
She was also using her platform to talk about some really important issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She was a vocal advocate for social justice, particularly around issues affecting, women in the Black community.
Right.
I mean, remember, she came of age during the Civil Rights era.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So those experiences, deeply shaped her worldview.
And that activism, I mean, it wasn't just something she talked about,
No.
right? It was woven into her music.
Definitely. I mean, you hear it in her lyrics, the themes she explores, the stories she tells.
Yeah.
She tackles issues like domestic violence, poverty, inequality.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
given voice to the struggles of marginalized communities,
Right.
but also celebrating their strength and resilience.
It's a tough balance to strike.
It is.
That combination of personal storytelling
Yeah,
and social commentary.
it is.
So how was she received,
Right.
both by fans and by the industry?
It's interesting. Some artists, they shy away from those kinds of topics, worried it might alienate some listeners or make them seem too political.
Yeah.
But Angie Stone's authenticity, her willingness to be so open and vulnerable, it actually seemed to draw people in.
So she was challenging the status quo.
Yes.
Not just musically, but in how she used her platform.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things that makes her legacy so enduring.
Yeah.
She wasn't afraid to speak her truth, to use her voice to advocate for what she believed in.
Right.
And by doing so, she paved the way for other artists,
Yeah.
particularly women and artists of color,
For sure.
to do the same.
It's like she's part of this lineage,
Sure
of
is.
these powerful women in music.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, like Queen Latifah,
Yes.
Salt and Pepa,
Yes.
Lauryn Hill, Missy Elliott, even someone like Lizzo today.
Yeah, finna.
They all carry that torch
They do.
in different ways.
Yeah, and what's so exciting is that the landscape continues to evolve.
Right.
We're seeing more diversity, more representation. Yeah.
And more women pushing boundaries and challenging norms.
Well, it's awesome.
And I think Angie Stone's influence is a part of that.
Makes you wonder how her career might have unfolded if she was starting out today.
Oh, that is a fascinating question.
You know, in this current musical landscape.
The industry has changed so much.
It has.
Especially with the rise of social media and streaming platforms.
Yeah.
I think she would have thrived in this environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. Like, her videos would be going viral. She'd be dominating the charts.
Yes.
You know, using her platform to connect with millions of fans.
Absolutely.
Worldwide.
Imagine the collaborations.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I mean, she was already working with some of the biggest names in music back in her day.
Right.
So I can only imagine the incredible music she would create with today's artists.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
But it also makes her loss, you know?
Yes.
All the more poignant.
It does.
Right. We'll never know what other incredible music she might have created. That's true.
What other boundaries she might have pushed.
Yeah.
Sad.
But I think the music she did create, the
Yeah.
impact she did have, is more than enough to cement her legacy
Right.
as a true icon.
Absolutely.
She left an indelible mark on music and culture,
Yeah.
and her influence will continue to be felt for generations to come.
And that's something to celebrate, right? Like, we've been diving so deep into, like, her career, her artistry, her activism.
We have.
But I'm curious, on a personal level, like, what resonates most with you about Angie Stone's music? Like, what draws you in?
For me, it's the honesty in her voice.
Yeah.
You know, you can hear the joy, the pain, the vulnerability, the strength. It's all there, laid bare. And it makes her music feel so real, so relatable.
I totally get that. It's like she's inviting you into her world,
Yes.
sharing a piece of herself with every note. It's powerful.
It is.
But even though we've covered so much ground, I still feel like there's so much more to discover. So what would you say to someone just starting to explore Angie Stone's music?
Okay.
Like, where should they begin?
I always recommend starting with Black Diamond, her debut solo album.
Oh, okay.
It's a great introduction to her sound and her style.
Right.
You get those soulful vocals, the blend of hip-hop and R&B influences, the personal and insightful lyrics. It's a classic for a reason.
And from there?
Don't be afraid to jump around,
Oh.
explore her different albums, listen to her collaborations, seek out live performances.
Yeah.
There's such a richness and depth to her discography.
Yeah.
It's a journey worth taking.
Yeah, it's a treasure trove for sure.
Yeah.
And I love that you highlighted the honesty in her voice.
Yeah.
There's this realness, this like rawness that's just like so refreshing to hear.
Like, she's not trying to be perfect. She's just being herself.
Yeah.
And in that, there's a profound beauty and strength.
Right. And it makes you think about the impact she had, you know, on other artists, especially like women in music. We talked about that lineage.
Yeah.
But what are like some specific examples of her influence that we can hear in today's music?
Oh, there are so many. Like, listen to the way SCA blends like jazz and soul into her R&B.
Right.
Or how HER uses her guitar to create these like intricate sonic landscapes.
Yeah.
You can hear echoes of Angie Stone's innovative spirit in their music.
It's like she gave them permission to like break the mold, to experiment, to be bold.
Exactly. And I think that's a crucial part of her legacy.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't just making music, she was changing the game.
Right.
She was proving that women, particularly Black women, could be creative forces in genres traditionally dominated by men.
That's something worth celebrating for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's not just, you know, about remembering her music.
Yeah.
It's about like carrying her spirit forward.
Right.
You know?
It's about supporting artists who are pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
who are challenging norms, who are using their voices to make a difference.
And it's about recognizing the power of music, you know,
Yeah.
to connect us,
To connect us.
to heal us, to inspire us.
To inspire us.
Yeah. I know for me, listening to Angie Stone's music, it's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, you know,
Right.
we can find strength. We can find hope.
We can find our voice.
We can find our voice. Absolutely. That's beautiful.
That's beautifully said.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
Angie Stone's life and music were a testament to the human spirit's resilience, creativity, and unwavering pursuit of self-expression.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's all take a moment to appreciate Angie Stone's incredible legacy. Go back, listen to her music, share it with others, and let her story inspire you to embrace your own unique voice
Yes.
and to use it to make the world a little brighter.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the music playing.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.